GYMDAD Fitness. Today we have a product from across the pond, from across the limits, that is, in the UK. And this is Odin. This is from Viking Labs. Now, as far as reviews out there, I know the review bros hit this up a while back. ThinkFit 24/7, 22/7, I think, is another individual that hit it as well. But most recently, my friend Justin, Justin Troy 606, I'll put his handle below. But one of my friends that I've had on, met through this community, awesome. This is why I love this stuff, is because people like Justin that connected with me. We connected on my Kill Switch review, and since then we've become friends on Instagram, exchanging voice messages about pre-workouts and life, man. Like, he's got a kid as well too, and a family, and so we talk, we shoot the shit with the pre's, but it's also like a lot of times about training and about like just overall like mindset on stuff and things like that. So that's been one of the cool things, because outside of my younger brother, I really don't have too many friends that work out and are into the pre's, and so this little community has been great. This is what I've enjoyed the most of the reviews, is the connections with the people, and with these supplement, and learning about the supplement companies in general. But anyway, so check out Justin's review. Like I said, one of the notable reviews I've seen recently, outside like the big time reviewers, no one else has really hit this outside of Review Bros. That he killed it. I'll also put his link below and watch his description. It's the only review you'll need to watch outside of this one, of course. But this Odin, the flavoring, I'm skipping the flavoring and the weigh-in, because it's a 15 grammer, but it's kind of clumpy. So this is going to live in your deep freeze next to your Coco Labs products. And it's kind of like bouldery clumpy, so it's easier to get around than like a Dexter Explosion, but just be wary of that. So I had to gram it out, and I couldn't really get like scoops of it, so I don't know what a scoop actually comes in at. But I ran this thing at 15 and 20. The taste was pretty damn good, especially for what they claim. If I've mentioned this comparison before, and there seems to be a correlation with pre's that claim 1-3 in this taste, but it tasted like Flintstone vitamins. And it smells and tastes exactly like this one right here, Dexter Halloween Trick or Treat flavor. This was blood orange, and the taste was right on point with that, which we actually somewhat enjoyed. 8 out of 10 on flavor. Like, it was bearable, almost to the point of like somewhat tasty. So that's freaking awesome for what they're claiming on this label. And so let's go ahead and get right into this label. So we got 1 scoop, 15 grams, 25 servings, citrulline malate, 5 grams, beta-alanine, 3.2 grams, agmatine sulfate, 1 gram, tyrosine, 1 gram, alpha-GPC, 500 milligrams, beta-methylphenylene, 500 milligrams, caffeine anhydrase, 400, araya genesis, 300, 2-amino, 200, theobromine, 175, then that 1,3, geranium HCl at 125 milligrams. Isovestyrene HCl, 30 milligrams, alpha yohimbine, 1 milligram. So I'm burning through this label. It's going to be up on the screen, obviously, to look, and I'm going to tell you my keys here. Keys here are obviously the 1,3 at 125, the 2-amino at 200. Then the next thing I look for is the caffeine content, and that's awesome. That's 400. It's a sweet spot. And then a little added bonus we see there at araya at 300. I feel like araya is one of those ones that adds some euphoric element, but it also kind of increases the sense of urgency and overall slap of the product too. And then alpha yo at 1 gram. That's definitely something to note as well. So sometimes these 1,3 products can lack a little bit of urgency, but that's definitely going to help that out. And then outside of that, the pumps are so. 5 grams citrulline malate's not going to get it done. Agmatine 1 gram is pretty awesome though to add with it, so it's decent. It's not like like non-existent, but it probably is stackable with something else. And outside of that, you got your standard, I call them like just GNC, Amazon style, like, anyone can acquire it that, sells fitness products at, mainstream websites. The GNC style nootropics is what I always say, which it's not a knock on them. I'm just saying that it's all kosher and FDA approved kind of stuff, and no gray area things going on there. And so let's get into the experience of the Odin. So the first time I took this thing at 15 grams, I'm not going to lie, I was actually slightly underwhelmed. It was probably, I would give it probably a flat B as far as grading goes. And I'll get in more detail my real experience, but I'll say the big takeaways were, I didn't really quite, with some of these like, crazy bold claims, 2-amino, 1,3 on this one, alpha yo, caffeine, all that stuff, all these good things come in, and you kind of expect, like, there's this point when like there's almost like a switch that flips in your head, and you kind of get like some tingling. Some people feel it in their hands, their feet, and stuff like that. But I always kind of get like a little tingling in the head, and you almost like a focus switch, kind of this like an on switch on a light switch. And I never really quite got that. it was kind of like I was just waiting for it to really hit, and then it was like, okay, I think we're here. I think it's already like here. I think we're peaking right now, and that's what was the case for the first run. It was a good workout still, like nothing over the top, no negatives. Like I didn't have to like leave the gym or something like that. That's always the worst when you get one of these kind of, you know, bold claiming prees, these illicit prees, and it gets so strong, so under the table that you almost have to leave the gym and take a step back, or go stretch out for a little while. But it was nothing like that. Still had a very productive weightlifting session. It was on the cusp of something great. I felt like it just needed like an extra push, like something just needed to like get revved up in this thing a little bit more. And so the next time I ran this thing was 20 grams. 20 grams took 15 to 20 minutes for like it to really kick in. That 15 to 20 minutes, I started getting like some energy brewings with that alpha yo, that caffeine anhydrase at 400. And then about the 35-minute to 40-minute mark, that switch flipped. And it was apparent this time. Like I was locked in, I was tunnel vision focused. It wasn't to the extent of if anyone's ran Hyperdose, Game On, IR8, Venom. It wasn't to that extent, but it was more comparable to Dexter Halloween, or maybe like if you've a more urgent Big Bang, if you've seen the review for that, or this one right here. It's kind of dark, the label, but this is Machine. It was a little bit like lesser version of Machine. Machine is heavy hitting when it comes to that. And I'll get to the Machine comparison, but Dexter Halloween's the best comparison for anyone out there that's ran Coco Labs products, for kind of how this one came in, the switch that flipped, and overall like 45 minutes, 50 minutes to peak. The star of the show is a straight freaking bubble. Like you were just on one, in the zone, training like a animal. Like nothing else in the world matters but the weights. Like the time stands still. Like you feel like you're training like straight, like Dragon Ball Z style. Like this, no time's moving whatsoever. You're going. Reps are flowing. It's one of these ones. Justin mentions it in his review. It's like one of these mind muscle connector prees where like you're so present, you're so in the now, that like there's this bridge between you, your mind, and your muscle, where nothing else matters but like that body part you're hitting that day. And that's kind of where I got with this one when I upped it to 20 grams. And I know some people will say like, oh, hey, every pre is better when you just take more of it, but that's not the case. There's certain pre's that change like whole letter grade experiences. So this one to me shot from like a B to like an A to A minus kind of range. Dystopia was kind of the similar way. That one more of like the B minus to like C plus to like an A minus, B plus kind of switch. And then another one was Pyre by KJ Labs. Flat level scoop was like a C minus, like very underwhelming, not very impressive. And then you heap that bad boy, and that thing goes up to like a B plus. And that's kind of like there's a few pre's that it really does make a difference when you up it a little bit. And I don't dock it too, because it's not like an M2. We almost have to take a whole fucking scoop to get that thing running. If that's the case, it's not a good pre. But I can give it a pass, especially when you're competing with something like Dexter Halloween, where it's got the most jank ass instructions ever. You got one scoop, two scoop, three scoop, four scoop, and then the side says heaping scoops on the ingredient breakdown. So it's like, what the hell am I even supposed to take? So you kind of just have to find your grammage that works and roll with it. And that's the same with this one, especially with 25 servings. You can get away with like 18-gram scoops and still like justify using it. And I loved it. It was awesome. It was a no drama, decent urgency, decent bubble feel, with like just a smooth overall undertone of optimism. It's not a happy dancing pre, which is the case for a lot of these really good 1 through pre's. And yes, this one does have the goods. I do believe it does. I just think it needs to be upped a little bit more from what the ingredient label says. I don't know the sourcing, situations and things like that. But especially if you're buying something from the UK or in the UK, you want to make sure if you're paying big bucks shipping, that you're going to get something with the goods in it. And I think it is the case. And like I said, it was exactly comparable to my experience on the 2 scoops Dexter Halloween the first time I ran it, and then when I upped it to the advanced user to like three, I think it says 3 to 4. I think I did 3 heaping, and that's when it really really hit and took off. And that was my comparable experience with Odin at 20 grams. And USA people, one to compare it to is Machine, and this is Machine Light is what I kind of compare it. So it's got the sense of urgency. It's got the 2 amino like in the alpha in the 1-3 that kind of gave you that bubble like tunnel vision focus with an overall undertone of good, positive, optimistic vibes with it, and then the sense of urgency with the alpha yohimbine. But this has more alpha yo, so there's more slap, and that is the case here. Both alpha yo sources both seem pretty solid and somewhat similar. But this one also had more of a 2-mino or a 1-3 bubble like sense of urgency. It was upped on the sense of urgency and upped on the illicit like bubble like feel. And so USA people, if you're looking for something to kind of compare it to, this is a 1 scoop, 2 scoop, so you could tone this thing down to get it more like this. But overall, if like you're in the UK and you want something like Machine, and you don't want to pay the big bucks shipping, Odin's an awesome decision. It's an awesome choice. Like I said, sometimes I feel for people in the UK because it seems like the only things, I mean, I'm sure there's some I don't know of that I'm maybe sleeping on, but it seems like Coco Labs is kind of the king over there. And I personally like diversification with my products. And so if you're looking for something different, but you also don't want to get screwed over by some bunk shit, like this is a pretty good one to get because you can mix it up a little bit. It's a beautiful label, looks awesome on the shelf. Love the design and stuff like that, and it's got the goods in it. So all in all, like and subscribe. Like I said, check out Justin's review. He's a fucking man. And catch me on the next review, GYMDAD Fitness. We'll have another good one for you coming here soon.